Hello everyone, Professor Ron here, and today's lecture is specifically here just to answer the question, is email marketing effective? And in answering this question, there's really going to be four parts. We're going to talk about, first off, the common misconceptions of email marketing. We will then compare email marketing to other sources of effectiveness in terms of, internet marketing in general. We will also talk about what email marketing really is and kind of put in perspective what the whole premise of email marketing is and how it really works. And then lastly, we are going to actually cover some statistics around email marketing to show you whether or not it really is effective. But first off, let's start off by talking about common misconceptions with email marketing. So when I say email marketing, many people instantly think of spam emails, right? We've all seen them. We go into our email inbox on a daily basis. Depending on your provider, there's more or less going to be some spam emails in there. Those spam emails, when you say email marketing, that's what people think of. They think of the subject line, buy a Viagra for cheap, and seeing, these weird subject lines, things that they're not even remotely interested in, and they just think, well, that's just a bunch of junk. Or they think of e-commerce type of emails that say, save 25% today if you purchase. So that's the first thing, is when you think of it, they think of spam emails. They also think that, a lot of people think this, and the quote is usually, well, I don't open any emails that come to me, so nobody else is going to either. And there's going to be some truth to that. There are going to be some people that don't open emails. But yeah, that's one of the other common misconceptions, is that it's like, well, I don't really open emails, and I'm one of these people myself personally that I don't open many emails if it's not from someone that I've subscribed to, or just generally overall. I'm not going to open up a bunch of emails. And then lastly is going to be that no one is going to opt in. So people think that, hey, I can create a website and I can put an email sign-up box on the website, which, by the way, if you have a website and you don't have an email opt-in, you're doing yourself a disservice. But many people think that, yeah, you know what, I can make my website and I can put it up there, but nobody's going to opt into it. Nobody's going to want to opt into my email list. Why would they want to? It's just not worth the effort. So that covers the common misconceptions. Next, let's talk about email effectiveness and the way email marketing is compared to other sources of internet marketing that are out there. So email marketing, if you think about it at its core, what is email marketing? It really is a one-to-one communication, right? And what I mean by that is that if I am the marketer, I'm sending an email to you, and it's from me personally directly to you. Okay, so it's going to be a message that you're definitely going to receive because you already confirmed that this is, in fact, your email address. Now, I know that some people, when they listen to this, they're going to say, well, yeah, I confirmed that it was my email address, but I have a specific email just for spam. And I've had that in the past too. So I understand there's always going to be that outlier. But for the most part, it's going to be people that confirm their email address because whatever you're offering them is valuable. They've confirmed their email address, and it's a one-to-one communication that people either have to read, they have to delete, they have to mark it as spam. They have to take an action on it, or they can leave it unread, but if you're like me, that would drive them insane. And obviously with mobile devices and smartphones, just ignoring your emails gets more and more difficult because we always have that next to us. So that is email marketing in its, in total, and that's kind of what it's all about. Now, when we talk about other sources, we can talk about, first off, social media. So many people think, well, I don't need email marketing because I have a Facebook page with 1,000 people on it, 1,000 of my fans. Well, did you know that if you're not doing any paid advertising to reach your own Facebook fans, you're probably going to reach around 5 to 10% of those people, right? So if you have 1,000 people on there, you might reach 50 to 100 people. While on the other hand, if you have an email marketing list of 1,000 people and you send an email, you're going to get it delivered to 1,000 people. So that's one of those things that you need to understand. There is some effectiveness there, and there is some value there, because social media, think about Facebook. Not only are you only going to reach 5 to 10%, but are they going to see it? Because at this point, Facebook, it's a pretty crowded community, and you see the things that you most interact with, but you're a lot more likely to see your friends as opposed to the brands that you're connected to. So will you even see it? Will you be on at the right time? You don't know the answer to that. Next is paid traffic. So another way that you can, connect with people and get them over to your website or your small business is to use paid traffic. Like, you could use Facebook ads and drive traffic to your website. You could use Google AdWords and drive traffic to your website. And you're going to get people into your website, but a lot of those people, they have some search intent, meaning that they're going to search for keywords that are related to your website and what it is that you're doing. But when they get there, how are you really tying them in to the website itself? How are you tying them into the content? Yeah, there's a chance that they'll connect on social media. They may end up coming back to the blog. They may end up favoriting your blog, but there's really no guarantees there at all. So, with paid traffic, it's one of those things that you pay, they come, and they probably just leave. And that's kind of the end of it. Next is blogging. And when we compare that to email marketing, blogging is kind of similar to paid traffic, but there's more of a chance that people will actually connect with you while reading your blog and save it as a favorite, or maybe subscribe to your RSS feed, or will come back periodically. But there's definitely no guarantee that that's going to happen, right? Because I've done this plenty of times, you go onto Google, you do a search, you find what you need, you go to that website, you read about it, and you leave. And that's the end of it. So that's what's going to happen more often than not. And then lastly, email marketing compared to guest blogging. Guest blogging, I've done that. It's great in terms of, becoming more of an authority in your particular niche. And I will say that in order to get a guest blogging opportunity, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. And then after you get the opportunity, you have to follow up with a great article, which is great. And that's totally worth doing. But when you do guest blogging, it's just like blogging, or it's just like paid traffic. When someone comes to your website, they're going to usually, first off, they'll read the guest blog on the other blogger's website because it's their email list or something like that. They'll read it there, and then if they want to, for whatever reason, maybe you gave them an opt-in, then they'll click over to your website and they'll actually opt into the email list, right? So as you can see, when you compare all of these to email marketing, there's one thing at its core that is, I think, very, very important. Email marketing is a one-to-one communication. All of these other types of marketing are not one-to-one. And in addition to that, one of the most important things that I think can't be lost is that at one point in time, a lot of people put a lot of money and a lot of time into Facebook. And I'm using this as an example on purpose. A lot of money, a lot of time was put into their pages. They grew their audiences, maybe 5,000, 10,000 people. And then what happened? Facebook decided, you know what? We just went public. We got to make a lot of money. Basically, it's a pay-to-play service now. That's kind of what Facebook did. Those people who just had those huge Facebook communities and were connecting with them there, as great as that was in its heyday, it's gone. They don't have it anymore. Now they can only connect with a small portion of that. And even though they can connect with a small portion of that, they also don't have the money to make it so that they are seen by everybody. They just can't do it. So they're missing out big time. And that's because Facebook had to change some things in their business, which had a direct impact on those other businesses. When you own your own email list, when you have your own email list, no one is able to take that away from you. Okay? You aren't relying on anybody else. You aren't looking at, or you're not relying on other communities or other services to hold your information. Your email list is your email list, and you're able to export that at your will, which I suggest that you do once in a while, just in case something happens to your email provider. But you're able to export that as you will. You're able to keep all those emails and do whatever you want with them at any given time, and nobody's going to be able to stop you from doing that unless you get some crazy spam complaint against your account and all of a sudden everything goes bad and it goes away. But for the most part, and even if that did happen, you could transfer to a new email provider. So the point is, all these other mediums of communication outside of email, they're large broadcasting types of communication. Nothing is one-to-one. And people, if they even see it, don't have to take an action. That's different than email. Email, they have to take an action. They have to do something with it in order to either get rid of it or read it or whatever it may be. So let's kind of talk about what email marketing really is. Let's take a step back and kind of think from a bird's eye view. What is email marketing? Okay, so it's not just, everyone says, well, what is email marketing? Well, it's sending emails to people. Well, yeah, that's true. But there's a lot more here than that. Email marketing, really what it's all about is these are people who want to hear from you. Okay, and this is obviously an ideal way to think about it. There's going to be some people that they don't want to hear from you and they will mark your stuff as spam. But overall, these are people that want to hear from you. These are people that have read your blog posts or seen something on your website that enticed them enough to say, you know what, I trust this guy or girl to give them my email address and let them contact me whenever they'd like to through email, as long as it's within reason and you don't abuse it. So these are people who want to hear from you. The way I look at it is that each email address, think of it this way, and this will probably change your perspective on it. Each email address is a person sitting down on a chair in a room, and you're standing at the front of that room. Think of email marketing that way, and you'll begin to appreciate it a lot more. Like right now, my email list is just about 100 people. I actually cleaned it recently to get rid of some people who weren't really active, but overall, it's about 100 people. Where else is it that I'm going to go standing in front of a room and have 100 people sitting in front of me? Granted, in some classes or whatever, I may have 20 students, 25 students, but that's still not 100. 100 is a sizable amount, and it's going to keep growing day by day. So think of email marketing as an audience of people that are literally sitting on chairs in front of you that are waiting for you to give them a message of value. In addition to that, email marketing are people who are, become usually the biggest brand advocates. They become your biggest brand advocates because you're able to connect with them. You use autoresponders to keep nurturing them, to keep giving them helpful information. You write up great blog posts. You shoot those out to them. You say, hey, check this out. You do whatever it is that you do within your brand on your website and your online business, and you do something to those people to just consistently deliver them value. And when you do that, and when you keep delivering that kind of value, what's going to happen is eventually these people are going to become brand advocates. They're going to write you back. They're going to ask questions. And sure enough, when you are kind of down the road and you've built enough value up and really have them trusting you, then you're able to show them that, hey, I've got a great product that I want to recommend to you. You don't have to buy it, but I want to tell you that this is a great product and I'd be doing you a disservice by not offering it to you. I really think you should get it. By that time, you've built up enough trust with those people to where they actually are willing to buy something from you. And if they're not willing to buy something from you because you don't have a product, they may be willing to take a product recommendation from you and purchase the product that you recommend. And then lastly, what I want to do is talk about some statistics of email. And this is to really solidify the misconception. Many people think, well, email marketing isn't that effective. Some of the statistics that I'm about to give you are going to really, really surprise you. So let's get right into it now. So I want to let you know that there isn't a specific order or anything like that I put to these statistics. And basically, I just went around and I collected them across the internet, and they are based on studies that were done by the companies that came up with the data. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get started here. According to convinceandconvert.com, people who buy products marketed through email spend 138% more than people that do not receive email offers. In addition to that, 44% of email recipients made at least one purchase last year based on a promotional email. According to exacttarget.com, 91% of consumers use email at least once a day. I think we can all attest to that, especially with smartphones. McKinsey and Company did a study, and they found that email, and this one's really important, email is almost 40 times better at acquiring new customers than Facebook and Twitter. And email conversion rates are 3 times higher than social media, with a 17% higher value in the conversion itself. Nielsen Norman Group found that when asked which medium consumers would like to receive updates from, 90% preferred an email newsletter, while only 10% chose Facebook. Marketing Sherpa did a study. They found that 60% of marketers say that email marketing is producing an ROI for their organization, ROI meaning return on investment. Also found that companies sending over 100,000 emails per month see a 94% return on investment. They also found that companies sending under 100,000 emails per month see a 139% return on their investment. And finally, there are 3.6 billion email accounts in 2013. By 2016, the number is expected to reach 4.3 billion. That's according to the Radicati Group. So with all these numbers, I think that it's very difficult to argue, and these are studies that have been done with statistically. They've been done subjectively, where they've gone out and done surveys and asked for responses. Email marketing is as effective as ever, and according to the stat, that those email addresses are just going to continue to grow. So if you're wondering, is email marketing effective, hopefully now you're no longer wondering that. I think that this lecture really goes over the value of email marketing and really explains how it is effective. And as a marketing channel, it's one that you really, really need to include in order to be successful as a brand.